Welcome to the Mindspace podcast, your go-to channel for all things real estate in Kenya. Join us as we have exclusive insights into the dynamic world of property and investment, with expert insights and practical advice. Hosted by Mr. Mwenda Thuranira, the CEO of MySpace Properties. Each episode brings you valuable tips to navigate the ever-evolving real estate landscape. Stay tuned, informed, and let's explore the opportunities together. Karibu Mindspace.
Hello, how are you? Thanks again for coming back to Mindspace. And here we try to discuss different things which can help us in life. We talk matter investment, we talk matter development, personal development, anything which can make us better. We are here to share with you today as you share with us. Please, if you have any questions, please write them right down here so that we can address them here. Today we are honored to have Bob Mwiti, the man from Gekomene, my fellow villager, Gekomene Meru, who is here with us today to tell us what opportunities are there in diaspora. If a person, let's say, leaves Kenya to go to America, how can they survive? What's the challenges to expect? And I'll not preempt much, but I will leave it to our man of the day, Bob Mwiti, to explain to us, first of all, who is Bob Mwiti?
Asante sana. Thank you very much. My name is Bob Mwiti, as you've said. I live and work in the U.S. I've been in the U.S. for the last 15 years. So nilienda huko, I went in 2009 and I went there as a master's student. Growing up, I grew up in Meru County, actually in the same village as you. So we are pretty much villagers, like you've said. And went to the local village primary school called Gekomene. Then after that, I went to Kobo High School. After that, I went to University of Nairobi for a few months, but transitioned to Strathmore University. And then in 2009, I got an opportunity to go and study abroad. So I went to pursue my master's at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. After hapo kumaliza shule, I got an opportunity to work in the US as a systems analyst. So I used to work for Fortune 500 companies in the US. One of them was Citibank, which was the last employer. Worked for about 5 years. Then decided to get into the entrepreneurship world. So I started my own consulting company, and that's what I've been doing since then. So, and that's how I started a program called the Kenya Airlift program, which we currently run. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hiyo tu ndio story yangu in a nutshell.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. So quick one. Mm-hmm. From Gekomene to the world, from Gekomene to America, and I'm back here trying to make some change, trying to improve our people's lives.
Yes.
So when you landed in America, what was your first shock?
So when I went to the US, that was my first time getting out of Kenya. So of course, there was a lot of things that I didn't know. I went there when it was in fall, when it was about to snow. So snow was like the first thing that cold, really cold. Even though we come from Meru, people think Meru is cold, but it cannot be as cold as how it gets in the US during winter. So that's really was one of the things. Apart from that, it's the major differences was, of course, the fact that pretty much everyone looks different in terms of color and all that. Because I went to a very small town in deep Pennsylvania. Like as in uko hata hakuna mtu mweusi huko. So it's very small college town. Yeah, so everything looked different. But one of the most impressive things that I found there when I went there is the way really systems work. Mm-hmm. And of course the infrastructure and everything else. So quite impressive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, compared to back home, unajua huku most of the time hata kwa barabara unapitana na nduthi, you know, like there,
There's
like
order.
there's so much order, man. Yeah. Like, you know, watu wana respect, you know, barabara and, you know, all that. So that was one of the big differences that I saw there when I landed. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Apart from that, I think, you know, when you are living in Kenya and you go there, you think like, kama like pesa iko. Like most people think like, ukifika tu hivi pesa unaanza kupata and things like those. So it's not really like that, of course. So like you have to hustle too. Si ati unaenda tu unakaa alafu pesa inaanza kukuja, because I've seen especially a lot of young people go there to study and all that, but they end up being nothing. Yeah, so in as much as the US has a lot of opportunities, you also need to be someone who is willing to work really hard and try to identify those opportunities, because unaweza enda huko na tu maisha ikupite tu, ujikute after 5-10 years, 15 years, like I've been there, you have nothing to show for being there. Yeah, so that's something that I can tell anybody out there who is really interested in maybe going abroad. Don't just go there and think like things will just work out just because you're out of Kenya. Yeah, you really need to hustle as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. What about the language? You know, the first time, of course, I landed in America. And I mean, the accent, our accent is different from what they speak out there.
Yeah.
For example, if you go to a McDonald's, to a restaurant, and ask for
a burger. Usiende kusema burger.
Na ukienda with chips na sausage.
Ukienda with chips utapewa nini? Those are crepes. Yeah.
Kwanza ukienda ukisema, like now me with my Meru thick accent.
Yeah.
Then nikuseme, can I get water and chips? Si watanifukuza?
Hata jua what you are talking about.
Yes.
Actually, I remember when I first landed that same evening, because I was so hungry. So we went to Walmart. There's a, you know, inside Walmart, kulikuwa na Burger King hapo, or McDonald's, one of those fast chain whatever restaurants. Then nikaitisha burger. Nikasema burger. You know, like there you say burger. Yeah. So unasema hivyo alafu mtu tu anakuangalia tu hata ajui what you are talking about. Like I had to go and point it.
Yes.
Like this one.
Yeah.
Because haelewi. Yeah, same thing like water, you know, like ukisema water haelewi.
Ukisema water watakufukuza.
Kuangalia tu hivi. Yeah, so I guess also that's why like maybe when people go there they tend to na mtu kama amekaa America sana na kuja huku akona ka accent ka US.
Yes.
I guess because people try to twist their tongue a little bit more when they're on the other side so that wao wanaweza kuelewa. But people have always asked like, ukienda India ukae huko for 10 years, kwa nini ukujangi na accent?
What do you want, papi? Kujangi wakiongea hivyo. Kwa watu wakienda huko majuu America na UK ndio wanakuja kujifanya kiasi.
Especially US.
Yes.
UK not that much, but the US, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know for what reason, but yeah.
Okay, and how is it like integrating with the community, especially like the Kenyan community there, I mean the American community, and I mean almost everybody living in America is an international. Everybody from the world goes there.
Yeah.
How did you find the integration?
Well, like for me, because I went there as a student, I think it was also a little bit much more easier. As an international student, the US usually allows, on a yearly basis, there's usually about over 1 million international students who study there. So like in my class, we had so many international students, Chinese, Indians, a few Kenyans here and there. And a few Africans, of course. So it was very easy to interact with them and, you know, be able to cope with, because all of them were like new to the country and all that. Also, for me also, I was lucky enough to stay on campus. That's where I was living in the suites in school. So that allowed me to stay also with Americans. Yeah, so I started learning, you know, the way of doing things. You know, we'd watch games together. You know, like there on American football. I don't know what you used to support.
Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys. You guys not so good, but anyways. So you know me, I went to the school that I went to was close to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So Pittsburgh Steelers was my team.
Steelers was your team. Okay.
And in fact, actually, the time that I was there, that's when they had won the Super Bowl. In 2009. They were the defending champions. Okay. So anyways, I didn't know much about football. So I learned a lot from the American friends and you know, the ones that we were living with. Because all of them they were Americans. So I was like staying in a 4-bedroom suite. Kila mtu ako na bedroom yake. Alafu some of the funny thing is that like sasa uko like mostly because you know like because it's expensive, so you tend like especially if you are going there as a student, you tend to share accommodation because ukichukua like an apartment on your own, it can be very, very expensive. Yeah, so that allows you also to interact with so many American students. Yeah.
Wow, perfect. You remember when you talk about the language, there's something I just remembered. One time I was working at a hotel. So a client could call the hotel, maybe ask some questions. You try to explain. You know, many of them cannot understand the accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after a while, they tell you, please, can I speak to somebody who speaks English?
Who can help.
Then I've been talking for almost 5 minutes.
And you're speaking English. But I think you're not speaking English.
Yeah, with that accent, which they can understand. So now maybe you transfer to somebody else. Then somebody may be a Korean. Then they speak, they're like, oh, please take me back to the person I was speaking to.
Take me back. Actually, yeah, because I always see like mostly like Asians, Chinese, Taiwanese, you know, Koreans and those ones. Like their English is so bad.
Yes.
Like sometimes, you know, like us, we have heavy accent, but for them actually it's, you know, in broken English. I used to have a Vietnamese friend, very good friend of mine. And we used to hang out a lot, go drinking and stuff like that. And most of the time, like when I try to hang out with him for so much time, like I also start speaking that broken English.
Okay.
so that he understands.
Wow.
Because ni ile mbaya kabisa.
Ile mbaya kabisa.
Yeah.
Hata mimi sasa naongea nayo nasikia ile American accent. Started coming back, man. You know what I'm saying? So Hadiel Mugambi from Matu, thank you for watching. Evans Motuma, Anrita Mwirigi, Muye Shisondi, Evans Motuma, tune in from Gekomene Meru. Ala, inyagore aja.
Motuma, ni nani huyo?
Evans Motuma. Au ni Gen Z, hawezi wajua bana.
Hawezi wajua. I thought I knew everybody from that place, but no.
It's been years, almost 10 years, right?
Generations.
Okay, Sandra Karanja, Dennis Bundi, Esther Wakamugi, Karaoke Mwangi, Kitengera Properties, that's my friend from Kitengera, Paul Kirika, Irene Henry, Susan Kenyuria, James Maina, Ken MP, Sarah Mugukwo. Wow. Ali Abdullahi, Martin Kadurima. Thanks for watching. Please, if possible, today we are talking matters diaspora. Now that we have opened up the stage, it's time to ask questions.
Uliza maswali.
Maswali
ya Maju.
Yeah. So when we get back, we'll talk about Maju. We'll talk, how can you get to America? Yes. Our young man who wants to study abroad.
Yeah.
This is the time to ask the questions. How do you get there? How can Kenya Airlift program, which Bob runs, help you get there? We'll be right back with you.
I'm standing on the most magnificent business square in Thome. Welcome to Thome Square. Come with me, let's discover why Thome Square is the best for your business. you can see, we have ample parking, including basement parking. I want you to take note of how spacious these corridors are actually. Something very important, I want to show you how spacious these spaces are. Kuja. And to add on it, do you notice the ambient lighting in this place? Another factor that is a concern to many is security. And the security at Thome Square is top-notch. We have enough security personnel and the CCTV surveillance is 24/7. Another significant factor is that we are just adjacent to the northern bypass. That means enough foot traffic for your business.
Action.
What are you waiting for? Call us now. Sasa,
Mambo?
poa sana.
Fiti?
Niko salama.
Pole pole madam.
Sasa,
Karibu. Niko poa.
natafuta shops. Huku kuna kwanga nazo?
Shops ziko hata kuna moja pale. Yeah, ziko kwa like ziko karibu mbili za. Then ukiangalia the environment pia, the environment iko sawa kabisa. Ukiona parking pia iko sawa. Mambo haiko mbaya hapa. Ndio mnasema sasa.
Hii nimeipenda kabisa.
Hizo ni iko sawa kwako.
Nimeipenda kabisa.
So unaona vile safi kama wewe mwenyewe.
Unaona kwa nini nataka kuchukua hii?
Yeah.
Ni kwa sababu iko karibu na hii salon.
Yeah, okay.
Unaona watu wanatoka salon wakikuja botiki yangu.
Madam wewe ni mwakili. Unajua wadosi wanakuanga akili. Baba tulikuwa tunaambiwa a woman is braver than a man.
Acha maneno.
Yeah.
Alafu unajua nikitaka kutengeneza nywele duka yangu iko next.
Si anatoka tu hata anaweza kuja hapa.
Sasa acha tu niende na management.
Yeah.
Haya.
Yes, welcome back. And we're here with Bob Mwiti today of Kenya Airlift program, the guy who specializes in taking students to diasporas to study and work, and actually even getting them some work permits, some permanent resident or even citizenship. He'll tell us more about that. But before we go to that, of course, there are a few questions we have seen, which we'll address right away. And the first question from Mjomba Omari. Good job. My question, does Kenya Airlift program only support Kenyans who travel on studies alone, or they also support those traveling for work-related opportunities? Mtu anaenda huko kutafuta mboka?
Primarily, we support the students, those who want to go and study, especially to study their masters. But also, we also started a program where we support those students. I mean, those people who have won the green card lottery, especially those who have won and then they don't have hosts. So, to our support as well. But primarily, it's for students, those who want to study their masters in the US.
Okay, good. So there's another question from DL Mugambi. Mr. Mwiti, what is your fee for me to study in US?
All right. So maybe I can take you a little bit back on what it costs to study in the US first. So especially for a master's program, to study in the US, it would cost you about 5 million Kenya shillings for a master's program. Then, of course, also even that process of going to the US requires money in terms of air tickets, visa fees, service, school applications, medicals, insurance, all those things, which would cost around 5,000. So basically what we do with the program, because we know there is a lot of Kenyans out there who don't have that 5 point something million. So basically what we do is we finance the students. So we don't really have to worry about where we're going to get all the 5 million that is needed. But for us also to do that, it's not like it's entirely free for you to join the program. So we require somebody to have contributed at least $1,100. Yeah, so that's usually the contribution into the program. Once you contribute that, you go through the process, you do some exams that you have to do, then once you are done with that, you start the application for schools. Then you go through the process, you get the visa, and then you facilitate the whole thing. Until you land in the US, you go to school, and kila kitu sorted out.
Accommodation?
Even accommodation as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all you need is $1,000?
$1,100. Yes.
Ah, wow. Okay. And I understand you had a circle taking care of that.
So basically what we do is what we do with that money for the money that a student contributes, the 1,100, we use that money for facilitating the relocation process. Because like I said, your process ya kutoka hapa Kenya mpaka to the US, just landing in the US, you require a lot of money, more than of course the $1,000 that you've contributed. Around 5,000, including our own consultation fees. So what we normally do is we use the money that students are contributing and put it in a revolving fund within the organization, and that allows us to be able to facilitate those who are leaving, to alipia air tickets, all that. So that's actually that's how we are able to finance those who are going. But on the other side, for the tuition and living expenses, which is usually the biggest chunk of whatever is needed for you to study in the US, we've partnered with a banking institution in the US that allows us to give the money to the students. So for tuition and living expenses. And then also, we have partnerships with universities in the US, and some of them have given us scholarships. You might find, for example, a university, it might cost maybe about 4 or 5 million to study in a school. But also, our school has given us like $1 million scholarship. But still, if our university is costing about 4 million, you still have like 3 million, and it's giving us a scholarship of 1 million. You still have like 3 million that you have to figure out where to get. So what we do as a program, we give you that through a student, through our learning partners in the US as an unsecured student loan. So you actually don't need any. Because I get that question a lot, like, do I need to show anything for me to get this funding and like those? So our funding is usually unsecured. You just need to show that you are a really bright student. The program is not just for anybody out there on the streets. It's for students who are interested in pursuing STEM programs. STEM basically means science, technology, engineering, and math. Because those kind of skills, if you pursue a STEM master's, you get skills that are very marketable everywhere across the world, and it's very easy for you to get a job. So that's the thinking. We don't use the typical traditional way of underwriting for a loan. Yeah, so our model is basically to look at your potential of getting a job later on, whether it's the US, whether it's Kenya, anywhere across the world. Yeah, and that's how we are able to finance you.
Do they check the credit?
Yeah, we do, yeah. So when you join the program, Once you do an application, you go to our website and submit that application. The first thing that we normally do is to check your credit. So especially these young people who really want to study out there, and they want to come through our program. I always tell them, don't take those small loans and then refuse to pay.
Here in
Because
Kenya
that-
or in
Here, upper,
Okay.
yeah. Because you find like tunaonanga like somebody has taken sijui zinaitwa the mshwari or whatever.
yes, Fuliza.
Fuliza ya 100 shillings. Na amekataa kulipa.
Yes.
And now you inakuweka kwa CRB. And the moment you have your, you're put on CRB as a non-performing loan, I mean, as a delinquency, we can't allow you into the program because we can't finance you. Because when you are facilitating the funding from the other end for your studies, those guys, they have to check your credit.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can't really allow you into the program.
No, in America they check for credit in Kenya.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We do check by the time you get in,
Yes.
and also once you get in, because that process, once you get into the program, it's a process that actually takes about a year. Because kuna exams zenye utafanya, then you answer process ya shule, then once you are done with the school process and you get the admission, that's now when we start now processing you for the funding, because you have to have the money. You have to show that you have the money. You have to show that to the embassy here in Nairobi, that you have the money for you to be able to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, so for that funding, at that point, also the other side, they have to check your credit. There's a way that you are able to facilitate that. And wanaangalia your CRB, and if you have those delinquencies, hata kama ni shilingi moja, huwezi pata loan. So, but we normally try to filter out as early as possible so that you don't get into the program and then you are not able to finance you later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Wow. So you need to keep your finances in order always.
You need to keep your finances in order, because also I've seen some of these young people wakiambiwa the other day ati wachukue hii, what was that thing that the
Hustler fund.
Wanaambiwa chukua hustler fund usilipe, my friend. Usipolipa utawekwa kwa nini kwa hizo ma CRB, and it's only 500 shillings, so just take and then pay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you really want to come, especially if you want to come through the program.
Okay. Wow, that's good information.
Yeah.
So we have Anthony Gitonga. Thank you for watching. Francis Mwema, Vanessa Magiri. Wow. Hey, baby, uko hapa pia.
Number one
fan number one. Thank you for the support. All right. We have a question from Anne Getiha. I would like to go to Maju to look for greener pastures, but not school. Kindly talk about it, because the agent asks for a lot of money. And I think you explained that already.
So, you see, what I always tell people, this process of going and studying or going abroad actually requires money. Whichever way you use. I mean, you need money for prepping you for the visa interviews and, all that. And to get your visa. So even if you are using an agent hawezi kufanyia kazi for free. At the end of the day, it's still business. So as long as it's an agent who is willing to support you and give you all the necessary information for you to be able to get that visa, then it's worth it, because nothing is for free, like the world doesn't, work on free things. It's a two-way thing. I provide the service and then you get, whatever you needed, the value for that service, and you move on. But with that said, for us, we normally support just students. Although, for example, if somebody wins the green card, there's that green card lottery. If you win the green card lottery and you don't have a host, and also if you need us to finance you, we can definitely help you go to the US. We started building a community around Florida, so we normally bring them to Tampa, where I live. Yeah, because we're able to support them there. Tunawasaidia. Unajua ukifika pande ile, there's a lot of things that you have to figure out kwenye utakaa, all those things, and then hata kutafuta gari, all those things. So we support them with a lot of those things.
Settling down.
Yeah, settling down. Yeah, if somebody has won the green card.
Oh, okay.
Especially when they don't have a host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, going to America when you know nobody or even any foreign country, it's very challenging.
Yeah, very
it's
difficult.
like starting life afresh.
Yes.
So when you have somebody to show you directions, like for example, I remember when I used to go shopping, like you could go to a meat section or maybe where they are selling soaps. You find that, like in Kenya before we are used to Imperial leather, Lux, mafuta ya kupaka ni Shanti na Vaseline. Either you choose one of them. Lakini there you find 100 of them. You don't know even what kind. Low fat, high fat. Wow. I know it's challenging, but when you have somebody to help you,
to hold your hand
it works.
throughout, it makes life very easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Na wale unafikanga wanasima simu?
Well, you see one thing. Actually, I had that case. In fact, that's why I also decided to be supporting those guys who win the green card lottery. Because you see, mostly when people win these green cards, they think that the US government will support them at our side, hata sijui air ticket, sijui kazi, sijui kwenye watakaa. Forgetting that if you win a green card lottery, basically there's so much expenses that you have to incur. And most of the people also, when they go to the US on a green card, most of the time watakuwa housed by somebody. Somebody like me, for example, I have my own house and I take you on board, and maybe you can have family and all that. People fail to understand that America, my friend, people, they have to pay bills. In as much as there is money, people have to pay bills and all those things. So hata ukienda huko, usiende alafu ukwe like so entitled, like, utasaidika na kila kitu. Unaenda huko unajipanga mbio alafu unatoka kwa mwenyewe alafu unajisort unatafuta kwako. So that's part of what we really do. As I usually, even as much as we are bringing you to the same state and the same city that we live, I usually don't really bring people to my house because we can't really accommodate everybody. So what we normally do is tunakutafutia nyumba kwenye utakaa, tuna finance all that, tunakutafutia hata air ticket ukuje, and then you start repaying us later on.
Okay.
Alafu tunakusaidia na stories za job and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, but watu zima simu just because maybe sometimes it can be a bit challenging to house mtu na familia yake. In fact, we had a case of somebody who reached out to me and then akaniambia mwenye alikuwa host wake achukui simu anymore na ameprocess kila kitu, amepata mpaka visa. Nikamwambia we kuja, but also mimi sitakuweka kwangu because mimi niko na familia yangu na wewe uko na familia watu wangapi? 4. So tukatafuta a place where they were able to stay, but sasa tukawasaidia hizo vitu zote, kutafuta driving license, kuwafunza how to drive, all those things. It takes a lot of effort
and time.
And time kuonyesha venye uta drive. Unajua huko kunanga story at za driving school, ni mtu anakusaidia na gari yake, unapeleka kwa DMV, all that. So nani wananipigia simu? Mama ni wenye wananiona kwa nini? Yeah, so kuwasaidia hizo vitu zote, Yeah, so, but yeah, people wanazimanga simu, but saa zingine I think also it's because of the challenges. Okay.
Hata huko majuu bado wako na challenges.
Of course, yeah, life is not as easy as sometimes people think. Because when you're on this side, you think like ukifika huko, it's very easy, like it's very easy also to get a job like quickly. No, it's not like that.
Good.
Yeah.
So we have a question here from Wanja Kamau, and she has a daughter who is taking psychology. Is there a chance to do masters in the US? What does she need as a bachelor degree holder?
Actually, she's doing psychology as an undergrad.
Yes.
Yeah, we have, you see, like I said, we help students who want to pursue STEM programs. And actually, psychology program is designated as a STEM program. Yeah, so kama amefanya psychology, they can actually get into a program and we can be able to support that student. And afanya masters in psychology.
Okay. Good. So there's one, Dennis Bundi. He's asking, does Kenya Airlift program as like a CSR program to help the needy students who wants to do masters in the US?
As a program, we do support, we have other initiatives outside of just sending students to the US. Like I think I've already explained that part of how we facilitate the student to go and study, which actually somebody has to contribute something. But outside of that, we do help students. Like, for example, I have students studying in high school. We have a student in Kobo High School, fully paid for. We have a student at Meru School, St. Mary's Girls, Gaga Boys. All those students, they are fully funded by the program. Yeah, and also we do have a few others that have already completed high school and they're in college, but also working for us on internship as they pursue their undergrad.
Okay.
So those are some of the CSR activities that we pursue as a company. Yeah, outside of just sending students to the US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Thank you. Be blessed, Tipana.
Thanks.
I have another question from friend Mugambi. Do clinical officers stand a chance for jobs in diaspora, like nurses?
Yes. Generally the healthcare sector is in high. I mean, healthcare skills are in high demand in the US. Nurses, public health, those kind of skills. I believe also clinical officers, they are. So if you can be able to find yourself there, then I don't think that would be an issue, actually, you being able to get a job. I know there is, especially for those who are interested in nursing, there's a lot of agencies here in Kenya that send nurses to the US. You have to do some exams called NCLEX. I don't know whether it's more or less like some certifications of some sort. Yeah, which I think you can do them here in the country before you had to like travel all the way to South Africa. Yeah, so for those who are interested in going there and going on a nursing, go and pursuing nursing. So it's very, very possible, actually, yeah. Companies are sending nurses over there. There's a huge demand for healthcare professionals.
Okay. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So we have another question from Josephat Mbadi. What are the minimum academic qualifications needed to study in the US? And he has another question. After studying, is one guaranteed to get work opportunities in the US?
Very good questions. Now, let me start with, first of all, with the academic requirements. Now, especially for us as the Kenya Airlift program, we normally work with master students, so which basically means you must have done your undergrad. And for that, we also, additionally, we look at your high school grades. You must have scored at least a C+ in KCSE and second class division in your undergrad. You could have scored even a second lower, doesn't matter, but as long as it's not a very, sio second lower iko karibu na pass, second lower iko karibu na second upper.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally there is the US system, they normally grade you on something called GPA, which is a grade point average from 0 to 4. So in our program, you have to have scored at least a 2.8 GPA out of 4. And we actually have a formula of how to do that, which I'll give you guys details of where you can be able to download our handbook and be able to get those formulas. So that's in regards to the qualifications for you to get into the program and for you to go and study on the other end. Also, there's some exams that you usually have to do when you get into the program, exams called GMAT or GRE. GMAT means Graduate Management Admissions Test. It's an exam that you have to do if you are going to pursue a master's program that is usually domiciled in a business school. For example, like an MBA, maybe Master of Science in Business Analytics, Master of Science maybe in Data Science. Those kind of programs, you have to do GMAT. Yeah, and this GMAT exam, it's a standardized exam that is done everywhere across the world that you have to do very well. And it allows you even to get scholarships and things. Like if you do very, very well, professors on the other side or the schools on the other side, they can also consider you for scholarships and things like those. But as far as our program is concerned, you must score at least a 445 out of 805, which is like halfway through in that exam for you to keep on proceeding with the process. There's also another exam that you have to do. You have to do either GMAT or GRE. GRE means Graduate Records Examination, and it's an exam that is usually done for anybody going to pursue a master's program that is not a business related program. For example, maybe unaenda kufanya like maybe Master of Science in Psychology, Master of Science in Mathematics, Physics, whatever, those kind of things, you do GRE. Score, you need to score at least a 298 out of 340 for you to continue with the process once you get into the program. It's not very, those scores are not very high. They are very, very achievable. So if you are very committed students who want to go and pursue the masters, I don't think you should have a problem getting the right score. Exam yenyewe ni ya kizungu na hesabu.
Okay.
Kama ambao ni wale watu walikuwa wana shida na mwalimu wa maths, maybe this may
Iko shida.
Maybe this may not be for you, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, apart from that, hiyo swali ingine ilikuwa nini? Apart from qualifications, kuna kitu ingine aliuliza.
Qualifications, let me come back to that questions. Just a moment. There were 2 questions.
The same, huyo mmoja tu alikuwa ameuliza qualifications.
Same one, yes. Okay. I'll go back to that question, but now before we take a break, there's somebody from Mombasa, Hudoya from Mombasa, who asked just a question.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, he asked a question because he has a need and he needs to understand. So he was asking Hudoya from Mombasa, is it possible for somebody to go to Germany, Canada, or America without using so-called brokers or agents?
Yeah. I mean, if you do, you see, at the end of the day, you don't need really, you may not really need somebody to help you, but it makes your journey a little bit harder because you have to figure out things on your own. Do research on the internet, figure out all that. But you see, what agencies do is they make life easy so that you don't have to go out there trying to figure things out. So they're able to explain to you this is what is needed, all that. Like they show you basically the way. Yeah, so but you can still do it on your own as long as you're willing to put all the work necessary and do your research. Because actually when I went to the US, I did it by myself. I didn't even know there was agencies out there that help people to go and study. Nilikuwa najifanyia tu vitu mimi mwenyewe. But you see now, actually for me it took so long. Because I also kept on getting denied visas. I got denied visa 4 times. It took me, I initially wanted to go for undergrad. Then I couldn't because I was just getting denied visas because I got denied visas, and then it took me about almost 8 years to get to the US. Yeah, and even going to the US also, I didn't know which school to go to. Kama hizo exams za unasikia sijui GMAT. Mimi hata sikuwa najua ni exam gani hiyo. So I had to learn the hard way. Kafanya mara ya kwanza nikaanguka, and even those exams actually, even the score that I got at the first time, sikuwa najua hata hiyo score yenye nilikuwa nimepata, it was so bad that I couldn't get into any school. Yeah, so that's, you see now, that's what happens when you're doing things on your own, because you actually don't even know, don't know what you are doing. So it was more or less like try and error, throughout. And I think that's also why it took me so long to get there. Vitu kama visa hata sikuwa najua how I needed to prepare myself. That's also why I was getting denied, because most of the time, in fact, actually, most of the time when it comes to visas, a lot of African students or a lot of Africans actually get denied visas many times because of the fact that most of the time they don't know how to handle those visa interviews. Unakutanga, tunaendanga hapo tunanyenyekea huyo mzungu like this, unaogopa, that kind of a thing.
Yes.
Forgetting that mzungu kwanza anataka wewe ukue kimbelembele. Anataka watu wanakumbelembele. Actually that's what I realized hata kwenda huko America. Unajua Americans, that's how they are. Wanakuwa na confidence, wanaongea tu na hata mtoto mdogo hivi. La kuongelesha ni kama mtu mkubwa, Yeah, so when you have somebody who is helping you like an agent, that process becomes a bit much more easier. But of course, you have to pay something.
Oh, okay, it has to cost you something. Yeah. Okay, of course, here in Kenya, my agents and my brokers wamechoma sana. Wamechoma sana. I'm sure even in your industry, like the other day we saw in Wasingishu, some people paid a lot of money to go abroad, Australia, where, but it never happened. Somebody swindled them their money. And also in my industry, same thing. Brokers, agents, of course, wamechoma jina. Do you have like an association for the people in your business
industry?
in the industry in Kenya? And how can somebody be sure that they are dealing with the right people?
Very good question. Yeah. So in the industry, there's a lot of those rogue agencies. But also one thing that I always like telling anybody out there who really want to go and study abroad is that there's a lot of aspects of this process that is usually beyond your control and beyond the control of the agency or whoever else is helping you. In as much as you paid some money. Things like, for example, visas. No one guarantees you visa. Unaweza toa, for example, ulipe agent like 100,000 or 200,000. But at the end of the day, that there's no way that agent can be able to get you the visa. Hata agents wengine hata wakikwambia sijui nini tunaweza kutafutia visa. At the end of the day, the visa is usually given by the government of the country that you are going to. Hakuna agency hata sijui atakuwa na any say in terms of where kupata visa. So it's very, very important for anybody who want to go at least manage expectations when it comes to visas, because as zingine ukinyimwa, you get frustrated. That's why now you start saying, sijui nini nimekuliwa pesa na agent, sijaenda. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you end up having somebody who is not happy about the process, but actually failing to understand that tu ndiye yako manage expectations zake, because unaweza nyima visa na ulikumelipa agent fee. Even in our program, we get students getting denied visas all the time. But me, wherever I get a chance to talk to these young people and anybody who is interested in coming and studying through our program, I always tell them, man, when it comes to visas, you better be prepared, because you can be denied visa so many times. Personally, I got my visa at the 5th attempt. Wow. So if you can't really stomach the fact that you can be denied a visa, then don't even get through the process, because you're going to lose your money, you're going to lose your time. So as far as the certifications that agencies go through. For example, through the Kenya Airlift program, we are a member of an organization called American International Recruitment Council, one of the biggest certification organizations for those in our industries. And some of the organizations who are members of that umbrella, they are usually universities that we work with, other agencies everywhere across the world. And for a company like ours to get those credentials, we had to go through a lot of audit of our business processes, getting to understand, whatever we do as a business, it's very transparent. Like everybody knows exactly what they're getting into. We have, for example, a 50-page handbook that before you even make any payment, you actually have to go through it and go through all those refund policies and things like those, because the last thing that you want to get into is basically to get into a program like that, pay a lot of money, because even in as much as we are saying we are reducing the cost of going and studying abroad, still you're $1,100 to get into the program. It's a lot of money for a lot of people. So you don't want to risk your money. So, but you have to understand what are the refund policies and things like those. So that organization, American International Recruitment Council, normally does a lot of audits the processes that the company does when it comes to recruiting students to go and study abroad. Yeah, Nakupata, it's not just like that. So we invested a lot also, because also we pay a lot of money on a yearly basis to maintain the membership.
Wow, good.
Yeah, so for anybody who is out there, maybe looking for agencies or companies that can be able to help them go up and study abroad, maybe those are some of the things that they have to look out for. Ask those agencies, for example, are they part of are they certified, do they have any credentials, Also, for example, like us, we are currently undergoing certification from Commission of University Education, CUE. They've already done a lot of all the work that they needed to do when it comes to checking who we are, what we do, and all those things. We had the officials come to our offices, both in Nairobi and Meru, to check and confirm that all we do is aligns with what they need. And they're actually just waiting for the certificate. Yeah, so those are some of the things that you really have to look out for if you want to look for those credible organizations that can be able to help you in studying abroad.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow, that's been great. I see our time is almost done. But of course, people would want to know, like, now, if you go through Kenya Airlift program, is a job guaranteed?
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
just before you answer that, we'll be right back.
Godowns to let and buy at Babadogo from 7,500 square feet. Going for only 45 Kenyan shillings per square feet for prices to let, and only 5,500 Kenyan shillings per square feet for prices to sell. Contact us now to make reservations. Karibu sana Babadogo.
Ladies and gentlemen, gift your loved ones a beautiful home that you have desired for long. And the good news is here today. Get a well-furnished ensuite unit apartment in Syokimau at Sunpark Residence. The apartment contemporarily designs building with stylish design, high floor to the ceiling height, superior quality proclaimed tiles throughout the apartment, modern, open-plan fitted kitchens and wardrobes, visitors' cloakroom, well-lit bedrooms with separate bathrooms. Each block has an elevator, borehole water in all blocks, perimeter wall with electric wires, 24 hours manned entry and exit with controlled parking, kids playing ground, benches and sandpit, separate visitors parking, shops and convenience stores. Sunpark Residence in Syokimau, conveniently located on Chadi Road, off Mombasa Road, just behind the Great Wall, a short drive from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Easy connectivity to the Nairobi Mombasa Road Expressway, less than 1 kilometer away. 2 bedrooms goes for 8 million Kenya shillings. 3 bedrooms goes for 10 million Kenya shillings. For more information, visit our website www.myspace.co.ke or else email us at info@myspace.co.ke. You can call us on 0734 555 556. MySpace Properties, Sunpark Residence. Tujaze Sunpark.
We are still here at Sunpark Residences. Now, your kids are going to love you because it's a dedicated kids playground. Good thing about it is no matter where you live around here, you can keep an eye on what your child is doing here in the kiddies area. There's going to be an AstroTurf football pitch coming up, a swimming pool, all the amenities you need for the kids to enjoy themselves. They will love you here. You know who else is going to love you? Your bank manager. Because while your shilling is depreciating against the dollar constantly since this time last year, here your money grows. Whether it's for you to live in or for you to rent, the rental income here is really good. With the 1 beds going for an average 30 to 35,000 shillings, 2 beds can fetch between 45 to 50,000 shillings and up to 70,000 shillings a month for the 3 beds. Let's crunch the numbers. A 1-bedroom apartment here goes for only 6.5 million. Deposit 20%. Pay the rest pole pole. 2-bedroom apartment goes for 8 million shillings. 20% deposit. Ile ingine pole pole. 3-bedroom apartment 10 million shillings. 20% deposit. Ile ingine pole pole. But with your shilling depreciating in the bank every day against the dollar, it makes sense to invest here. Your money will grow. Your bank manager will love you. Your kids will love you. And you will love yourself. This is Sunpark Residences.
Now, kitchen comes fitted with the cooker, oven, and the hood, the extractor.
It's the extractor.
Yes. So this comes as it is.
Standard,
it's part of the package.
So the kitchen comes like this?
Yes, minus
Except
fridge,
minus the fridge
and
and
microwave.
the microwave.
Yes, everything else is standard. Comes just as it is. Then you have a double sink here. Yes, so the kitchen will come just as it is. Then you have a pantry or the storage, quite spacious as well. And then that comes with the shelves, just the way it is.
The storage.
Yes. Thank you. Then next here we have the utility area or the washing area. So this is where you put your washing machine. We have piped it. And then next you put your...
This is specifically piped for the washing machine?
Yes, this is piped. And then next is where you put your gas cylinder. It's
Yes, welcome back. Now, Bob, apart from about the opportunities getting a job, I just have a question from YouTube, one of our people watching us. It's called Kuria Irongo. I've already paid the first amount. I'm yet to enroll for the GMAT exam preparation. My worry is, will I be fairly recruited upon payment of the required amounts?
Okay, so normally, you see, I always tell students, like, don't be too much concerned about the GMAT or GRE exam because it's an exam that tests your IQ levels. Kama ni mtu mwenye ulikuwa umepita form 4 na ukapita ukafanya undergrad, utapita tu hata hizo GMAT and GRE exams because you take either of them. We get, of course, we do get students who fail, who pass the exam, but we give them a chance to repeat. So hata ukianguka uta repeat tena. Because hata me, by the way, when I went to the US, nilianguka and then nika repeat your exam, nikapita. Yeah, so, but it's very possible. I mean, it's not a very hard exam, so I don't think that students should be worried too much because they can pass and progress with the process.
Okay. So, and again, in life, it's about taking risks, right?
It is about taking risk, and nothing is guaranteed because people always ask about all this, am I guaranteed this? Am I guaranteed passing? You see also even passing the exam also ni effort ya mtu.
Yes.
Yeah, unaweza ingia, and then also we do the training and all that, but also like a big chunk of the, the process is actually your effort, your initiative. Ukijifanya sasa uko busy, sijui uko job, sijui nini, unatoka job jioni, utaki kusomea hiyo exam, utaanguka. Na ukianguka, you have nobody to blame. Yeah, so it's all about you, really. But it's very, very doable exam. So I don't think you should be worried too much.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I think the other thing that you asked about was the guarantee for jobs.
Yes, there's a question from Josephat Mbadi. After studying, is one guaranteed to get work opportunities in the US?
Well, again, also the word guarantee. I'm always like no to anything that somebody says guarantee because you see also, in as much as yes, you're in the US, there's so many things that can go wrong, right? So there is no guarantees for job, but what I always tell people is that the US offers a lot of opportunities. Now, when you are a student, when you go there to pursue your studies, the US government actually allows you as an international student to look for work. So when you graduate, they give you something called optional practical training, work authorization, which allows you to look for work and get employed in a job that is related to what you went to school for. That work authorization is usually for 1 year, but if you will have pursued a STEM program, like for example, what we focus on, you get up to 3 years. And within those 1 year or 3 years, you can figure out how to get a job and be able to stay there long term. Like for example, like me, when I graduated from school, me when I was in Kenya, I did BCom. And when I went to the US, I had done MBA. But actually, the job that I got in the US, I used to work as a systems analyst, which is basically a tech job. But what I did, because I realized that because what happens is when you're on the other side in the US and you really want a company to sponsor you for work authorization, you have to have skills that most Americans don't have. Otherwise, your petition won't go through. So actually, for me, what I had to do was to get trained on tech skills, and that's how I got a job. And that's how the company that I was working for, they were able to file for my work visa. Because unaenda huko kama student and you have a student visa. But if you want to stay, if you want to transition and actually be able to work there, you have to figure out how to get that work visa. Otherwise, utakuwa huko, una makaratasi, you will be basically an illegal immigrant, and life can be very tough for you. Yeah, but as far as guarantee for jobs is concerned, there's no guarantees for job. But the country has a lot of opportunities. If you go there with a very open mind, my friend, you'll do very well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we have another question from Jessica Moronge. Any plans to add universities in Australia and Europe in your Kenya Airlift program?
Currently, the US is our biggest market. Also, we have Canada as well. Sometimes you get students who, for one reason or another, they can't go to the US and they want to try Canada. So we are able to finance students in Canada. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are not able to finance students outside of those 2 countries because the financing, like I said earlier, the money that we get to finance you, all those millions, it comes from the companies that, a financing institution that is based in the US. So we cannot, because it's based in the US, because money is not directly coming from me. So I'm not able to make the decision of financing students who is going to Australia, and yet I don't have the funds. We don't have the funds as a company. But who knows? Maybe in the future, we might get financing partners who are able to finance studies in Australia, maybe the UK as well, and we can be able to expand. Tukipata to expand. But as long as we don't have any financing partners who can give us the money to give to the students, unfortunately, we can't be able to do that. Unless maybe we just work like any other agencies out there, just send students, but without any financing. But we facilitate you to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but for now, that's not in the pipeline.
For now, your focus is America.
It's America.
That's where your network
biggest
is.
Market, yeah, that's where our network is, and to some extent, Canada. Because Canada is right next to the US. It's also even much more easy for us for me even to go to Canada and figure things out. I have a lot of also people there, friends and family members as well in Canada. But Australia, New Zealand, wherever, it's a bit tricky.
Okay.
But you never know. Yeah.
Good. So now, you've gone to America. You've studied.
Yeah.
You've gotten a job.
Yeah.
Most of the guys who go through your program, do they migrate completely, or they are just there to look for opportunities and come back?
Well, when you're going to the US as a student, you're basically on a student visa. The expectation from the US government is you are supposed to come back here because hataki uende huko ukae huko. But maybe nitaongea na Kiswahili.
Yes.
Unajua sisi ni Waafrika.
Yes.
Tuko na mashida mingi sana. So uwezi spend pesa hiyo yote kwenda. Unajua most people unataka tu kwenda alafu utafute opportunities zenye ziko huko. Alafu ujipange vizuri. Ndio ukikuja huku ukue na kakitu, usikuja huku tu umekaa hivyo,
Asikuje na certificate peke yake.
Sasa certificate itakusaidia na nini? Kama mimi kwanza, when nilienda nilikuwa nimesema siwezi kuja like until maybe 10 years later. Lazima nikuje na kitu.
Yes.
Na pesa. So, and I believe most people out there wanataka tu mtu aende ajitafutie riziki bana. Huko kuna opportunities. So, but of course, the visa itself, the student visa, you are supposed to go through school, complete school, come back. Because it's a non-immigrant visa.
Okay.
Yeah, you go do whatever business you're going to do there in terms of school. Then after that, come back. That's the expectation from the US government.
Okay.
But ukienda huko, unajipanga. And then ukipata kazi, unachapa, and then start now investing back home.
Okay.
That's actually what we are doing at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't lived there for so many years, 15 years and counting.
Okay. You're ready to come back?
Sasa unajua sasa tumekuwa wazee. So it's time now to start thinking of coming back.
Okay.
So yeah, I believe maybe by the time I get to 50, I will have come back.
Okay.
So I still have like 10 more years.
Okay. So for the people...
But of course our business is on this side. So.
Exactly. Wow. Or you can be sending them from here, and then you have the systems there already.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So the people who invest back in Kenya, I'm sure you interact with them.
Yeah.
What challenges do they face when investing in Kenya?
Mostly trust. Yeah, a lot of diaspora people, they've been swindled money. They've lost their money even with their family members. Unakuta mtu anataka kununua hao huku ama anataka kujenga, anapatia brother yake anakula hiyo pesa. For some reason people think watu wa diaspora wako na pesa mingi za kutupa. Or something of the sort. So we've had those cases of where mepatiana pesa alafu ulikujengewa unakuja unakuta hata hakuna kitu ilijengwa. Yeah, so I think those are usually the biggest challenges. That trust that somebody else who actually you can give your money to somebody and they can invest here. You see also, because most of the time also, you have a very huge number of people who are in the diaspora without the right documents, and they can't come home anytime soon. Even so, the investment that they do back here, they are always dependent on the people that they've given the money to help them. Because waezi kuja waone. Unakuta unajua si wewe umekaa huko unajua how things work when it comes to papers. Unakuta mtu amekaa huko for like 15-20 years, even 30 years na mtu hajaikanyaga nyumbani. Not because they don't want to come home, but because they don't have the documents to enable them to travel. And so if they want to invest back home, which most of them want, they can't come and see those investments. Naweza tumiwa picha za nyumba ya mtu mwingine na hata ujui. Because wewe hujaikanyaga huko. So those are the challenges that mostly those people in the diaspora face. But from what I've seen also, most of us actually want to really invest back home, especially in real estate.
Of course, real estate is the best investment on earth. And once somebody is the most sure investment. And like I advise my friends in the diaspora, if you want to invest in Kenya, the surest way, of course, is real estate. You know, like if you invest, let's say you open a shop, or you do some kind of a business where cash is being transacted daily. Hapa watu watakula pesa yako. Acha nikwambie tu kweli.
That's true, by the way.
And when you're investing in land and houses, real estate, it's always good to use professionals. You can have your family members go check for you, just verify, but use professionals.
But they should not be the ones doing all the transactions when umepatia pesa and you anakujengea all those things. Because actually family members are the bad.
The worst.
They are the worst actually. They are the ones watakuramba. Watakuramba. So it's always good to use professionals to invest. Otherwise utapata shida.
Wataanguka nayo.
Baya sana.
Kwa hivyo, of course, when investing, always use professionals. Use lawyers, use surveyors, use evaluators. Get to understand. Use real companies like MySpace Properties and other property companies which can help you walk through. Since I've been there and I know the pain, these people work so hard to raise this money. Then yanatuma hapa tu, tunaingia KFC, tunaingia pale kwa bar, pale jamaa anapenda kwenda kuiba. Anaenda kuentertain watu sherehe. Na pesa ya mtu halali, mtu analala 4 hours a day.
Do you know how much people put in to get that money back in the US? It's a lot of effort. Unaona mtu akona like unafanya like double shifts, like day and night somebody is working to get that dollar. Ya kutuma huku ndio mtu anunue real estate. And then now mtu akulie pesa, you know. It's not the best feeling.
Ndio, wewe Mkenya, usikule pesa ya mtu wa diaspora. Tafadhali, msaidie. Akikuja atakusaidia. Na niko sure hata sahi anakusaidia. Kwa hivyo usikule pesa yake, mfanyie kazi. Na pia, one other thing I find funny. Most of the people in diaspora, let's say they trust their mother. Now, for example, you send your mother millions and millions of money. And your mother, let's say, doesn't know even where to get land or how to start building. Your mother will go look for the nearest fundi, neighbor fundi who knows. Na unataka nyumba ya gorofa. Na kuna fundi atasema no to a job.
Kwanza workmanship mbaya sana.
Exactly. So you are giving them some jobs which they are not qualified for and they don't know. You can have them verify for you, check for you, but leave the job to the professionals. So as we head this today, I would like you to explain to people or inform us how we can get hold of you. Where is your office? Where is your website? How can we get in touch with you if we want to kwenda majuu tukaomoke?
Good. So the easiest way to get hold of what we do is to go to our website at www.kenyaairliftprogram.com. Program, you spell it as PROGRAM. kenyaairliftprogram.com. You go there, download our handbook, get to understand how the program works, and then after Apple, you can apply. There's an application form that you have to fill in, and then You wait for us to give you a feedback whether you qualify for the program. We get a lot of people who want to visit us physically. We are located at the Mirage, Tower 1, right next to GTC, hapo to Westlands. Tuko hapo 8th floor. So unaweza kuja hapo, tuko na big team there that will answer any questions that you may have about the process of going and studying abroad. I mean, all the questions, all the nitty-gritties, because this podcast also, it's not like we handled everything, because there's so much that you have to know, the schools, all those things. So the team can be able to help you if you go there and ask those questions. Yeah, so that's the way you can be able to reach out to us. Personally, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. My name is Bob Mwiti on Facebook. So follow me on Facebook. Tanipata huko. As far as YouTube is concerned, our YouTube, it's called, by the way, we are trying to rebrand the program from actually, because we've had a lot of interest from students from other countries. We have students from Sierra Leone, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia. And we are in the process of rebranding the program to include other international students. So we are calling the program International Scholars Program. So after YouTube, our YouTube, it's International Scholars Program. So if you search for that, you'll be able to see all the beneficiaries of the program, get to see their life in the US, and at least it also helps you do your due diligence and get to know much more about the program. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bob. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for informing our people about your program.
Yeah.
And as always, we try to add value to the community, our online community. If you need to engage more with Bob, we'll share his contact here. We'll share all his information, how to get hold of him. Na hapo ndio utaweza kwenda majuu uko diaspora kujitafutia. So thanks a lot for listening to us, and see you next Thursday, same time. And also we'd like to know, who would you like us to bring on this program? Who would you like to listen to learn from? Please write it down here. We appreciate you. Asante. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, gift your loved ones a beautiful home that you have desired for long. And the good news is here today. Get a well-furnished ensuite unit apartment in Syokimau at Sunpark Residence. The apartment contemporarily designs building with stylish design, high floor to the ceiling height, superior quality proclaimed tiles throughout the apartment, modern, open-plan fitted kitchens and wardrobes, visitors' cloakroom, well-lit bedrooms with separate bathrooms. Each block has an elevator, borehole water in all blocks, perimeter wall with electric wires, 24 hours manned entry and exit with controlled parking, kids playing ground, benches and sandpit, separate visitors parking, shops and convenience stores. Sunpark Residence in Syokimau, conveniently located on Chadi Road, off Mombasa Road, just behind the Great Wall, a short drive from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Easy connectivity to the Nairobi Mombasa Road Expressway, less than 1 kilometer away. 2 bedrooms goes for 8 million Kenya shillings. 3 bedrooms goes for 10 million Kenya shillings. For more information, visit our website www.myspace.co.ke or else email us at info@myspace.co.ke. You can call us on 0734 555 556. MySpace Properties, Sunpark Residence. Tujaze Sun.